Hi everyone, Vela Day here, author of paranormal romance and some romantic suspense and a few other genres that I happen to be writing in. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and a very heartfelt thank you for all the people who wished us a happy anniversary. Hi Deb, hi Tammy, awesome. Today I'm going to be talking about two of the most important things to an author. And it's really the readers that are helping. I'd like to kind of know what's the first thing that you look at to decide whether you want to read a book. Yes, is if you've read the author before, you probably know that they're an auto-buy. So we're not talking about those people. I'm really talking about, do you look at the cover first? Do you read the blurb? Do reviews matter to you? And personally, the cover is the first thing that grabs me. And just as a side note, it was interesting. 2 days ago, I put up 3 books, all in one series, because too often you read a book and then you have to wait months to get book 2. And these I had, and I thought, let me just do all 3 at one time. And 2 of the covers I loved. The third cover, I wasn't too thrilled about it, but it involved a Native American hero who was bald, which was a bone of contention with his father, because Native Americans should have long black hair, Seminole, according to the dad. So being bald was a shaved head was a big negative and a big bone of contention between him and his father. So I wanted to have a hero on the cover that was bald. I knew it was a chance. And when I looked to see cover models, trust me, there are no cover models that are bald. There was like one. And he wasn't particularly handsome. But, I figured, okay. So I picked him, and even though the books can be read in any order, my Pledge to Protect series, book 1 sold really well. Book 3 sold really well because the guys are hot. Middle book with the bald guy, not so much. It sold, but not as much. So I'm really thinking proof positive that covers really, really do make a difference, because everything else was pretty much the same, except for what the cover artist was, the cover model. And in reality, the cover model should not determine what the book is like. Okay, so once title, cover, and then blurb. Okay. I agree. I probably would look at the title first. But the covers are what really whoa, okay. And the key, if any of you are aspiring authors, the biggest key is that your cover has to let the reader know instantly what the book is about. Now, I'm not saying that romantic suspense should all have a man and a woman, and that all paranormal should have the bare chest and the animal on it, because my dragon shifters don't, but they do have scales on the background. And thank you, Deb. But the scales in the background to indicate the dragons. I just didn't have a picture of a dragon, probably because there's no live dragons flying around here to take a shot of. But the one friend of mine said, make certain that the title of your books are a dead giveaway to what the book is about. When I first started writing, I had just titles that kind of worked with the story. No one had a clue what it was about. Unintended diversion, unexpected diversion. You have no idea that that's a shifter story. Promises Unbroken. That sounds contemporary. I had stupid titles. The titles fit the story beautifully, but it didn't give away what the book was about. My good friend Olivia James is coming out with a new series that sounds wonderful. Tempt him, tease him, touch him. Now, you know it's contemporary and it's hot. I guess it could be paranormal. They're not. they're just good titles that when you read them, you know what they are. So for my new Dragon series, I went, okay, I'm making it obvious. I'm putting the word flames in everything. Awakened by flames, kissed by flames, touched by flames, seduced by flames. So you see flames in everything, so you know they're all branded and they go together. And flames kind of implies firefighters. So it could be a firefighter series, but the dragon scales in the back should indicate that they're, dragons are firefighters. What else has flames? And so I put the scales as the background for everything instead of a picture of a dragon to indicate what it was. So we want to we want to make it easy for the reader. Most real contemporaries might have a beach scene where the woman's hugging the man, they're fully dressed, and her leg is kicked up behind her. You can tell a contemporary cover that's like a sweet romance a mile away, and that's fabulous if you can do that. So covers to me are really, really important. And then there's the blurb. But first, before we do the blurbs, I want to talk about reviews. And Deb, you're going to blush because so many of these are yours. Let me just say that blurbs shouldn't really be spoilers. Now, that being said, I want to know that the review that I'm reading really belongs to the book. There are 2 of my free books that have about 40 reviews that were dumped on one day by Amazon that are about some product. I don't know if it's a floor cleaning product. It's something that everyone liked, and it was delivered on time, and it was just what it was supposed to be. And excuse me. Clearly, I did not vacuum today, and I have allergies. Anyway, I have a bunch of product things. I don't know why Amazon does that. Secondly, if you hate my book, okay, say these characters did nothing for me. I thought the heroine was boring. This author can't write. Okay, and my first response is, talking about me? Are they talking about me? Please say, Miss Day can't write a word. Okay, at least I know they're referring to me. There's too much sex in this book. Okay, that's probably talking about me. Not my contemporaries, but the shifter books. At least refer to something, but don't give a friggin' book report. You did enough of those in 9th grade. Like when I grew up, every summer we had to read a certain number of books. And we had to write the first day of school, you had to turn in your 3 book reports that you read over the summer. And it was, Bob meets Jane, and they go on an adventure on an island, and blah, blah, blah. Tammy says, too much sex in a book, never. Yeah, I love when they say that. If I get a 1 star, there's too much sex, I'm like, yes, thank you. That's better than giving me a 10 star. So the reviews, for one, I want you to say, how did you like it? And I am just going to read 3 of them. 2 belong to Tammy, 1 to Deb, and 1 to Denise, and 1 to Marie Brown. These are, I know they're about my book because I didn't want to pick them off other authors because I didn't ask them. You have no idea what these books are about, and I love that. This first one is Holy Hotness Must Wear Gloves. She could have stopped right there, This second novel, blah, 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 is another brand new release from, in my humble opinion, tops her first book, which was also a phenomenal 5-star review. Miss Day has her own fantastic flair with words and descriptions that breathes life into her amazing characters. And she takes readers along on a thrilling roller coaster ride. Okay, I'm in love with this person already. Every book I've read that she's penned has been a perfect blend of smoking hot romance, suspense, and edge-of-your-seat action. This grabbed me right from the first page and held on tight the whole way through the book. I didn't want to stop reading whenever I had to and then hurried to get back to the reading. Smiley face. I always count on her fresh new plots, well-defined and relatable characters, and the awesome pro tags, the hero and heroine witty dialogue. that can either bring tears to my eyes or make me laugh out loud. I highly recommend this to adult fans who choose today's new contemporary fiction genres like romance, PNR paranormal, shifters, UF, fantasy, sci-fis, and more. I know you will all be engaged and page-turning like I did, Deb. Now, of course, that's an over-the-top, wonderful, fabulous review. You have no idea what the book is about. Absolutely none, other than this person loved the book. Now, even this next one, Denise says this one is very short. It's wonderful. This one has all the makings of a great book. There's danger, intrigue, hot times, and scary times. It comes complete with a surprise ending. I could not put it down until I finished. Perfect. It's 2 sentences. Again, you know nothing about the book. And the last one, because I won't bore you, a brand spanking new red-hot romance in Falladae's Hidden Realms, so I know it's me, that I found to be irresistible, sexy as hell, and potentially dangerous to my heart. This is a great mix of high-octane suspense, steamy romance, and witty banter that had me turning the pages happily. I have yet to be disappointed with a book by Miss Day. Seduced by Flames just proves why I can't stop reading. I enjoy a fabulous PNR, and this one was scorching! I am so looking forward to other readers getting their hands on the book. I am sure they will be just as thrilled as I am. Marie Brown. And I don't know Marie Brown, but I love you. That's awesome. The second one that Denise sent me the review, so I know it was about me, but I really think that reviews can be short. Even if you don't want to really write a review, just, this was a great book, I can't wait for the next one. That's it. But don't give me a page-long summary of what the book was about, because sometimes when I read the reviews, I'm like, sounds like a fabulous book. I don't need to read it. I already know what happened. So I was once told to look, we don't have, I'm dating myself, Reader's Digest, before there was, smart TVs. And every week, the Reader's Digest came, and I was so excited. The TV guide, the Reader's Digest TV guide. And you open up the TV guide, and you would look for your show, and it would maybe give you, they probably had like 10 words, or even now on the TV, when you look, I have CBS on that I click on for past viewings, because I'm working during the time it comes on. Assuming I even have CBS, I don't even know if I do have live CBS. Anyway, I look at the old things, and they give like a one-line blurb of what the story's about. Sometimes gives a little away, sometimes doesn't, but you want to say a lot but say nothing. And that leads me into how to write a good blurb. If you're an author, I don't want a plot. And I would say most of my old blurbs were all, I wanted to tell you everything that's in the book. That's terrible. Those are terrible blurbs. The only thing, if you're an author, that you really need is, what's the conflict? Why should this reader pick up the story? I used to have someone I would write the blurbs. They were terrible. I would send them to someone who was very good, and she would write my blurbs for me. And then I kind of figured out what she was doing. And so I started writing them myself. And I have Anna Lowe, who's wonderful. I'll send her my blurb, and then she'll work on them. I'm like, oh, that's so much better. She'll send me hers, and I'll work on them. And she usually takes them, so I guess they're better. It was my husband, who doesn't write, but he's very smart. And he said, you need to write more in deep point of view. Have it more chatty, more than just a book report. So now I try to be a little more chatty. And I try to find ones that Terry Bullrider had fabulous blurbs. I couldn't find the one I was looking for. There's a lot of people who are excellent blurb writers, and then I thought, well, I didn't want to pick one and not another. So I picked 2 of mine and 1 of Anna's. And I'm trying not to tell you anything, but tell you something. My husband and I once read this 12-book series. We read 3 of them. The first 3. It was a sci-fi story. We were reading to each other at night one time, and all the blurbs said the same thing. And some of the bigger stories, I'm like, oh, so what's this book about? And you read it, and I'm like, well, that didn't say anything, which is good. You don't want to give away the plot. So this one is, again, this is my blurb, so it may be good, it may not be good. These are the blurbs right now, Cassie. In order to stay alive, a dragon shifter and a human must join forces. Now, that's my tagline. Why do I need a tagline? Nowadays, Amazon puts so much crap on the page that if you just scroll down, you get about this much. You get one line, the tagline, and maybe two sentences at most. And some people don't scroll down. So that first line is important, and I don't think I do very well with the tagline, so I apologize for that. If it weren't for bad luck, safety expert Nessa Caspian wouldn't have any luck at all. Just when she thinks things can't get worse, an explosion traps her in a mine. Really? If she hadn't been a dragon shifter capable of clawing her way out, she'd be dead. When she learns the mining inspector, Kyle Harper, has to shut down her family's legacy because of all the safety issues, she's livid. That is, until she realizes the super hot man is her future mate. Now there's the conflict, it'll be enemies to friends. Enemies to lovers, shall we say. Well, crap. Now what is she supposed to do? Bite him? Kyle, and that's all about her. Kyle hates dragon shifters. After all, one nearly killed his sister. When he meets the highly tantalizing and intelligent Nessa, though, all his preconceived notions flow out the window. Part of him wants to keep her at arm's length, and the rest of him just wants to ravish her. Other than the fact that there's a mine explosion in the first 8 pages of the book, you know nothing about what these two people have to go through. I'm hoping it intrigues people enough, that's Seduced by Flames, I'm hoping that it intrigues people enough that they say these two people are truly at odds with each other. Like boom, 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 boom. You can't make, someone who is the safety inspector for the mine and someone who closes down mines because the safety isn't good. Oh, thank you, Rachel. She said she thinks my blurbs would hook her on dragons. Oh, you're wonderful. And I sucked. Now, let me say this. How many blurbs have I written? Thousands. But I've published 80 books. Again, I hired someone for half of them because I was so terrible. It wasn't until maybe a few months ago that I think I have a hint as to what kind of works. The next one is book 3, the one that will be coming out next month. Can destiny overcome distrust? Distrust. That's my blurb. Lily Harper needs protection. A lot of it. Just her rotten luck, some crazy human trafficking lord wants her for himself. If that doesn't bite the big one, Lily ends up with Burke, a dragon shifter, as her bodyguard. And mind you, this is Kyle's sister, the one who almost died from a dragon shifter. Her last boyfriend was a dragon, and that was a total disaster. That makes Burke definitely off limits. Too bad, because his teal eyes, that glorious body of his, and his tender touch really light her fire. So here's a very conflicted woman. Now we go to his point of view. The moment Burke sets eyes on the beautiful Lily, his inner dragon starts scratching and clawing to take her as his mate. But holy crap, every time she's near, she pulls away from him, clearly fighting her feelings. She's going to be a real challenge. But as sure as he is a guardian, he will not let this human's emotions win, especially when it involves his heart. Again, other than the fact that it hints at the big conflict that some human trafficking lord wants her, you really don't know what the book is about. And so many of the blurbs I read are talking about the story itself. I try to avoid telling you anything about the story if I possibly can. I used to follow this 6-step for writing a blurb, where what is she saying, what is he saying, and I probably have it somewhere, and I'll put it up there. It's just a 6-line thing of how you should do a blurb. And I really like the way it was structured and helped, but it still told too much of the story. And I didn't think that that was a good thing. So try to say a lot while saying nothing. Just tantalize the reader. Give the tone. Certainly if you write in first person, the blurb needs to be in first person. I mean, and I've never written, I don't think, a blurb that was in third person and then the book was in first, because that's not really fair to the reader. So try to keep them the same. And the last one I'll read is by Anna Lowe, which I did help her on. Destiny only puts events into motion. The rest is up to you. Desert Fox, and I read this book, it was awesome. Desert Fox shifter Ella Kitt has no problem risking her life, but never, ever her heart. Not that she expects to do either when she flies to Maui to help her Special Forces comrades with an easy security job. Or maybe not so easy, because she's forced to work and live in close quarters with smoking hot Army hero Jake McBride. Jake isn't just the one-night stand who makes her scarred heart flutter and her foxtail wag. He's also a human, totally off limits to shifters of her kind. His point of view. Head over heels in love? Not Jake McBride. It's just that he can't shake Ella out of his mind or his dreams. But when destiny reunites him with his kick-ass lover, he can't deny the attraction anymore. There's something powerful and alluring about Ella, plus a hidden sensual side he longs to set free. At the same time, mystery, that's all you know about the book, mystery surrounds Ella and Jake's new employers at Koa Point. How exactly can a group of Special Forces vets afford to live on an exclusive oceanfront estate? What deadly enemy is closing in on their sun-kissed corner of paradise? And is this enemy targeting someone at the estate or targeting Jake? So there again, she says nothing. You have no idea who the bad guys are, what they're after, why they're needed. And it's being in both points of view can show how the conflict works. And that's what you need to show between the hero and the heroine. Because why else would you pick up a book? If they both adore each other, now, it's untrue. They can adore each other in the beginning, and together they have to fight the bad guy. I get that, but hopefully there's some emotional issues that they have to deal with, and they can't be together. I had laminated in my old home before I moved down here a saying that said, there's only one thing you need to worry about when writing a book. What keeps the hero and heroine apart, and what makes them have to be together? Well, that's the definition of conflict. They can't be apart. I mean, they have to be apart, but should be apart, but they can't. They have to be together. So that's what the yin and yang is all about in the stories. And it's, if people are writing blurbs and I'm titillated and possibly want to read a book, don't tell me everything. Less is more. One lady, famous, wonderful, beautiful, I'll think of her name in a minute, came to one of our RWA chapter talks, and she said, get in quick and get out faster. In other words, don't belabel any scene, or in this case, any blurb. Just give them enough to want more. Give them too much and they're like blah. So that's why, and I'm not going to read any blurbs that or any reviews that are on my site. But if you read some of the reviews, and I really appreciate that these people have definitely read the book. I mean, proof positive, they read my book. I mean, they gave almost everything. They stop at like the black moment. So they don't tell you the ending. And that's okay. But that still kind of spoils the first 3/4 of the book for people. And they don't always do justice of what the intricacies of the book. So to me, a good blurb is worth everything, and I spent quite a lot of time on them. Sometimes, I'm not going to read you some that I'm like, yeah, they're not quite as good as what I would have liked. They're like, so-so, and I try, and I try. Some stories are more conducive to bang, bang, than other stories. But putting them in deep point of view where it's like, I mean, phrases like, I guess if it weren't for bad luck, things couldn't get worse, really, oh crap, what am I supposed to do now? Bite them? Not that you're supposed to add sarcasm, but I think my books have it because I do. Make it a little more chit-chatty, a little more interesting than so-and-so traveled to, Planet Z and found the man of her dreams. They ran into so-and-so, and then she was captured, and now he has to go after her to save her. But don't worry, he saves her, and then he has to save the world too. Okay, now we know the whole story. Bye, I'm done. I just finished the whole book in a few sentences. So I try to put in the chit-chatty type of stuff. And first of all, they're more fun to read anyway, and they're more fun to me to write. So screw you readers if you don't care about. I mean, I like them. And I do think that a good cover and a good blurb. The one lady who was an editor for me back in Tampa, I read a lot of her stuff. She wrote for Siren. Wonderful author. Awesome. Her covers, I know she's not watching, sucked. She did them herself. They were photoshopped. They were terrible. And I'm like, why? And I know they're expensive. I know for those of you on a budget, now I'm not saying don't buy the pre-made covers, but because they're at least made by professional people. But doing them yourself, trust me, I did some by myself, and they never sold. Case in point, I shouldn't tell you this. The book Panic and Passion, the one that came out yesterday, and I told everyone, is a book I wrote for Siren. You can even look online under Melody Snow Monroe, and it shows you the cover. Go ahead and look. I have the cover on a Matchbox. It is the butt of the joke when I talk to my friends, because it's the worst cover ever made. My hero is 12. He's got a little Caesar peak. It's tacky. It's horrible. Oh, bye, Cassie. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you for the happy anniversary note. Go to Melody Snow Monroe. Look at the book. Verdict. Worst cover ever. It was up for 5 years on Siren. I made $50 in 5 years. I'm not telling you my numbers for Panic and Passion, but trust me. In the first 15 minutes, I made more than $50 on Panic and Passion because it has a kick-ass cover. And so covers and blurbs are key. And now, mind you, for Melody Snow Monroe was my first book, no one knew who I was. But the cover's hideous. To be honest, if I see a tacky cover and it's handmade, and it's badly handmade, because trust me, I've made them, I think the person is a beginner, so maybe the story is. I think they can't afford a good cover. They don't have enough knowledge to know who to ask for the covers. I don't know. The best thing you can do is get a good cover. The blurb bitch is very good. Carol Eastman used to do all my blurbs. Well, they're still up there. She's the one who started to do some deep point of view, which I like. She did my Wares and Witches of Silver Lake blurbs. And I think I do them well now, so I can do them on my own. So thank you, Carol. But don't skimp. I have 4 editors, and everyone is super valuable. Skimping only provides a less than satisfactory product. Does it cost money to write your first book? Yeah, it costs a lot of money to start. Hopefully they're good in the end and you make your money back, or you wouldn't be doing this. So first things first, get a cover artist. The cover is king. Secondly, try to write a good blurb. And thirdly, if you are a reader and you are a reviewer, for me, please don't tell the whole story. I love that you've read my book. And I was a teacher for 1 million years. Math, economics, photography. Hence I could do the covers because I did Photoshop. Math, economics, photography. I didn't do English. So you're not writing a book report for me. And you don't need to prove, I'm not going to give you a letter A, B, C, D. But the people who can write the blurbs are gold. So when you do write the review, and if you don't like something, fine. And I don't even want all 5s because it makes it look like I bought all my reviews. So I love this book 4. I've had people say it's an awesome book 3, and I'm like, really? Why'd you give me a 3? But that's okay. I like that I've got them, and even when I get a 1, which isn't even on my book, that's okay, because it looks like it's spread out and it works well. So whatever. So if you have authors who write good blurbs, put them in the comments. I would love to be able to read them. And I like talking and I like reading because I can read it on my screen here on my phone, but it's kind of hard to read and talk at the same time, so I will address them when I get off. Don't know what I'll be talking about next week, but it'll be something, same time, same place. See you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining me. Bye.